Hey, welcome everybody to our March ICC online meeting. Great to see so many of you again. I just wanted to share this with you because, as you know, Malcolm McNamara is still on tour. He should be heading home now from his most recent cruise, but as you can see from the picture, he's been out there spreading the word. So, Malcolm, safe journeys if you're listening on YouTube. Have a safe journey home. And thanks for everything you do for the ICC. And I thought everybody might like to see that. And well done to Malcolm. Okay, so we start today, guys, with a clip from Bing's fabulous 1941 movie, The Birth of the Blues, which Bing mentions in his autobiography, Call Me Lucky, as being one of his favorite movies. There's still someone trying to get in. Here we go. Okay. And we're going to start with the clip of Bing and Co. singing Memphis Blues.
Nothing yet. They're just tuning up.
Hey, Memphis, what'd the judge give you?
20 days for $20.
$20? Well, we'll see what we can do. Come on, boys, shower down. They got a fiddler there who always slickens his hair. Folks, he sure do pull a big bow. Don't strain yourself now. And when the big bassoon seconds to the trombone's croon, well, that's how that man got in there, bit of file there. Well, he moans just like sinner on revival day. You can phone home. Now, brother, just stand pat while I see where we're at. Oh, we're a little short right now, but we're gonna beat that jail, raise a bit of bail somehow.
We'll get you out.
Take time, we'll do it, don't worry. And when we raise that coin, you'll polish up your horn and join Memphis Blues.
Yeah, it's a nice clip that with quite a bit of little background comedy going on there as well. It's okay, guys. There's still a few people joining, so let them in now. And as Aaron implied, clearly that Bing wasn't playing clarinet there. In fact, the guy playing clarinet behind Bing was a gentleman called Danny Polo, and Brian Donlevy's cornet was played by Pokey Carriere. Now, that leads us nicely into our first presentation for tonight. And our early bird, Aaron Tickner, from over there in Queensland, Australia, early riser this morning. Thanks again for getting out of bed for this one, Aaron. He's going to take us on a journey to meet some of Bing's trumpet and cornet accompanists. Okay, so I'm just going to share the presentation, Aaron, and if everybody else can stay on mute. And
Yep.
So
I can
share
start
that.
speaking, yes.
But yeah, let me share the screen and you can make a start.
Well, thank you, Jason, and everyone for letting me do this today, letting the colonial have a turn. So when I approached Jason, I came up with this thought. Throughout our online meetings, we have acknowledged the talented musicians who accompanied Bing. This recognition is fitting, as Bing himself was always keen to credit those who contributed to his work. So I thought, why not highlight one specific instrument? I naturally thought of my own instrument, the trumpet, as I could give some insight into its history, usage and technique. I then was reminded of the comic strip from where Bing acquired his moniker and came up with the title for this presentation, Bing Crosby and the Bingville Buglers. I begin by pleading a case in defense of the trumpet. The instrument is remarkably versatile. It can be bold and demure, commanding and intimate, sombre and whimsical, regal and sensual, jubilant and reflective. These qualities can also be heard in Bing's voice, making the combination of Crosby and the trumpet a compatible one. The trumpet's adaptability makes it suitable for a wide variety of musical settings and genres. Bing's record producer Jack Kapp noticed the depth and range of Bing's voice and placed him in many different genres as well. Therefore, the pairing of Bing and the trumpet is especially compelling. I use the term bugle rather loosely here, as none of the featured musicians play the bugle to accompany Bing, and I broaden the term to include the cornet. You may even wonder about the difference between cornet and trumpet. For players, the difference is minimal. Anyone trained on one can play the other. The cornet is shorter and squatter compared to the longer, sleeker trumpet. If you were to unwind and stretch out each instrument, the distinction would become apparent. The cornet has a conical shape, whereas the trumpet is cylindrical until it flares out at the end. The shape gives each instrument their distinctive tone. The first bugler we examine qualifies his place at the top of the list for several reasons. Firstly, he played both cornet and trumpet. He became Bing's closest trumpet-playing friend and was an important musical influence on Bing even before they met. Their collaboration spanned radio, film, records, and television. On a personal note, even though this statement has no scholarly merit, I must add he is my personal favourite. I speak of Louis Armstrong. Much of Bing's and Satchmo's collaborations showcase Armstrong singing, with his trumpet playing in a secondary role. I wanted to highlight Armstrong's playing and was delighted to find this Chesterfield show performance of My Honey's Love and Arms. We'll also hear vocals from Tony Arden, Jack Teagarden on trombone, who we just saw in the clip from Birth of the Blues, and Joe Venuti on violin. As stated at the beginning, Bing liked to acknowledge his fellow musicians, so it is only right to let him continue the introductions.
Now the entire ensemble, Tony Arden, Louis, Joe, Jack. We got Perry Bodkin on the guitar and Matty Matlock on the clarinet. We got, Phil Stevens on the bass, Buddy Cole on the piano. Did I miss anybody? Nick Fatul on the drums, a real good man on the Skins. Who's going to sing a song called that I made 20 years ago with the Mills Brothers? This is a song called My Honey's Love and Arms. Who's going to start this thing?
Every man for himself.
Really? Somebody got to start it, so I think you're elected, Jack. My honey's love and arms, they hold a world of charms, a place to nestle when I am lonely. A cozy Morris chair, oh what a happy pair. One caress, happiness seems to bless my little honey. That was a great break in 1930. Seems to bless my little honey. You'll find my love belongs to you only. And when the world seems wrong, I know that I belong right in my honey's loving arms.
Your loving arms, they hold a world of charms, a place to nestle when I am lonely. A cozy Morris chair, oh what a happy pair. One caress, happiness seems to bless my little honey.
I love you more each day. When years have passed away, you'll find my love belongs to you only.
And when the world seems wrong, I know that I belong right in my honey's loving arms. My honey's loving arms, right in my honey's loving arms.
Bing was certainly in his element here. You may have noticed Bing quietly improvising harmony when Tony Arden came in singing, followed by a flourish from Lewis on the trumpet. It sounds as though the two men were sharing their own musical moment while the others took their solos. If you didn't pick it up, go back and listen later with headphones. You will notice it with headphones. While time doesn't allow a full exploration of the trumpet's history, one key development is worth mentioning and how this relates to both Pops and our next bugler representative. The development is the invention of valves in the 1820s. Valves give the trumpet its full chromatic range in the lower register. Prior to this, the trumpet had to play in the top octaves to utilise more notes or be relegated to the back of the orchestra using its lower range with only half a dozen notes being available. If any trumpet scholars are watching, please forgive the brevity. I've just condensed 2 centuries of the trumpet's history into one sentence. If we consider Louis Armstrong's mentors, Buddy Bolden and Joe King Oliver, the valved instrument was just over 50 years old when they were born. These men not only pioneered a new form of music, but were also key exponents of a relatively new instrument. There are no surviving recordings of Buddy Bolden, and only 8 years of Joe Oliver's recordings exist. With Louis Armstrong, we learn of the full potential of the valve trumpet from the pre-microphone days to stereophonic recordings, inspiring generations of solo virtuosos. The invention of valves was as pivotal for Armstrong as the microphone was for Bing Crosby. The cornet and trumpet methodology was still being refined when our next bugler picked up a cornet for the first time. Largely self-taught, Bix Beiderbecke created a unique fingering pattern. Where most of us use certain fingerings for specific notes, Bix opted for alternate fingerings. These are valid, but unconventional due to their tone and tuning. Unaware he was playing the wrong way, Bix developed a sound distinct from other cornetists. Richard M. Soodholter and Philip R. Evans, in their book, Bix, Man and Legend, offer insight into Bix's style. Crosby himself was interviewed for the research. Soodholter, a cornetist, contrasts Bix's introspective lower register playing with Armstrong's bravado and exploration of the instrument's extremities. Without valves, Bix's approach would not have been possible. Unfortunately, racial barriers in the 1920s prevented a collaboration between Bix and Lewis on record. Bing, who worked extensively with Bix in the 1920s, learning much from him, becomes a link as he takes those lessons into his work with Armstrong. I'd like to mention a superb presentation on Bix and Bing that Jason did for another group he is involved with, the Manchester Jazz Society. The video is up on our ICC YouTube channel, and I implore you all to watch this if you haven't done so as yet. Jason's presentation was so extensive that it made it difficult not to repeat any recordings he showcased. However, I found something that I had to share. In Bix, Man and Legend, Soothalter gives us a transcription of Bix's solo that occurs at 1 minute 48 seconds on Tain't So, Honey, Tain't So, detailing both conventional and Bix's unique fingerings. So while I repeat the track, there is something extra here to appreciate.
Hey, come to Arkansas. Meet a friend of mine, old Aunt Phoebe Law. She's known to everyone for miles around. She will help you when friends forsake you and troubles bear you down. For those who come her way are blessed when they hear her say, "Tain't so, honey, tain't so." Spoke to the Lord and the Lord said, "No, tain't so, honey, tain't so." Tain't so, honey, tain't so. Tomorrow will bring something good, I know tain't so. I mean it just ain't so. Makes no difference what your problem may be. Just look up, brother, and I'm sure you will see. Tain't so, honey, tain't so. The devil said yes, but the Lord said no. Tain't so, honey, tain't so.
I must say, well done there, Jason. You had that time perfectly. The transcription came up right on the start of the solo. Well done. Bix's early death was a significant loss to jazz and trumpet artistry. In 1931, this also left Paul Whiteman with a solo spot to fill. Andy Sechrist had previously substituted for Bix during difficult times and took over the role of hot jazz cornet soloist. He went on to be a vital contributor to studio sessions, many with the John Scott Trotter Orchestra. To spotlight Andy Sechrist, I have chosen Bing's Decca recording of Can't Get Indiana Off My Mind. This offers us as a link to Bix, as it was written by Hoagie Carmichael, a close friend of Bix's whose compositional style was influenced by Bix. It is fitting that Sechrist was given the solo.
Can't get Indiana off my mind. That's the place I long to see. Back in Indiana I will find all the folks so dear to me. How I'd love to see that lazy river, stop and give her my love. In my dreams I see a lady knitting for the one she's thinking of. Can't get Indiana off my mind anywhere I chance to roam. The moonlight on the Wabash that I left behind calls me back home. Can't get Indiana off my mind. That's the place I long to see. Back in Indiana I will find all the folks so dear to me. How I'd love to see that lazy river, stop and give her my love. In my dreams I see a lady knitting for the one she's thinking of. Can't get Indiana off my mind anywhere I chance to roam. The moonlight on the Wabash that I left behind calls me back home.
Andy Sechrist would take many solo spots on Crosby discs, including the Decca recording of Rhythm on the River. In the film version, however, this was the feature for the one-winged wonder, Wingy Manone. Jason included the clip on a presentation he did on Bing's jazz singing for the Manchester Jazz Society, also up on the ICC YouTube channel. Along with Bix and Lewis, Bing mentions two other buglers by name in his autobiography, Call Me Lucky. Although Bing devotes almost 2 pages to Wingy Manone, he doesn't write about any personal interactions and instead uses the space to recount second-hand anecdotes, a rather lost opportunity, I think. Bing overlooked that he had Wingy as a guest 3 times on the Kraft Music Hall. Last July, when Jason asked us to select any Bing performance of a song that he'd originally featured in a film, I chose the Kraft Music Hall performance of Rhythm on the River, with Wingy playing and singing with Bing. Thanks to David Carrington for providing these rare Kraft items for me. I had already planned to use that performance for this presentation. However, for variety, I've chosen The Blues, which also features Connie Boswell and radio personality Jerry Lester.
this morning, looked all around my room.
Oh, hazy this morning.
Woke up this morning, looked all around my room.
Shadow boxing, Mr. Blue.
I said, good morning, Mr. Blues. What you doing here so soon?
That's that early grief.
I knew it wasn't blues, cause I felt awfully bad.
Oh, Winston knew it was the blues, cause it felt so awfully bad.
He felt like he lost all the best looking gals what he had.
Now Wingy comes from New Orleans, down in the old southeast. Comes from New Orleans, down in the old southeast. If you see a red coat there, it's the cross-eyed mounted police. Call the law!
Oh, Mr. Crosby, you're getting plenty corny. Oh, Mr. Crosby, you're getting plenty corny. I said plenty corny from Maine to California.
That's coast to coast call.
Oh, Mr. Bingston is a man who really wobbles. Mr. Bingston is a man who really wobbles.
Oh, Miss C, he warbles so pretty with a mouth full of marbles.
I'm a gravel gate.
Oh, Mr. Bingston, how come your horses always lose?
Consistently.
Mr. Bingston, how come your horses always lose?
Ain't they a mess?
Oh, baby, you ought to change the brand of hay you use.
Feed 'em nothing, gonna cut 'em off.
Mr. Lester, how come you jump with joy?
Lester always jumps, man.
Mr. Lester, how come you jump with joy?
Well, I'll tell you, Miss B, I got promoted from the hoi polloi to the hoity-toy.
Ah, Mr. Winston, better grab your horn and blow it.
Bingston, I got it.
Mr. Winston, better grab your horn and blow it.
Man, I got two of them.
Blow away those blues and dollars, make me know it.
The fourth bugler being names in Call Me Lucky is Red Nichols, although it's just a passing mention. Red's contribution to the Bing discography predates that of Bix, soloing on Bing's 1927 recording on Coming, Virginia. As Jason used this in Bing's jazz singing, I've selected a later recording. Listen to how comfortable Bing is on Ida Sweeter's Apple Cider, as Red switches between the set tempo and double time throughout the recording.
A one, a two.
Ida, sweet as apple cider, sweeter than all I know. Come on out in the silvery moonlight, of love we'll whisper soft and low. And it seems as though I can't live without you. Listen, oh my honeydew, Ida, you know I idolize you, because I love you, Ida, baby, deed I do.
it seems as though I can't live without you. Listen, oh my honeydew, Ida, you know I idolize you because I love you, Ida, baby, Ida, baby, Ida, baby, deed I do.
Well, if Red was at the start of Bing's musical journey, who was at the start of mine? My interest in the trumpet began early, and yes, that's me. Inspired by the sound of the trumpet in my parents' classical music and musical theatre vinyl records. Many trumpeters I first heard were nameless members of large ensembles. Television also played a role, especially the soundtrack of The Muppet Show, an integral part of my childhood. Produced in England, many of the session musicians on The Muppets were English. Sorry to disillusion you all, the Muppets didn't actually play their own instruments. Through Bing, I later discovered one of these mystery trumpeters, Kenny Baker, who dubbed trumpet for the Muppets, played in Bing's United Artists sessions. Kenny solos on The Best Things in Life Are Free from the album That's What Life Is All About. However, I have chosen I Can't Get Started to showcase Mr. Baker. This track from the Buddy Cole sessions in the 1950s had orchestral backings added by Ken Barnes and Pete Moore after Bing's passing. Not long after Kenny recorded his solo in 1979, I would have started to take note of his trumpet sound on The Muppet Show. By the time I first heard this Bing recording a decade later and discovered the name Kenny Baker, I was about 14 years old and had been learning trumpet for about 5 years. It would be another 15 years or more with the advent of the internet that I learned of his connection to the Muppets. So thanks to Bing, I know the name of one of the trumpeters who inspired me to learn the instrument.
I've flown around the world in a plane. I've danced flamencos, pasodobles in Spain. You know the North Pole I've charted, but I can't get started with you. What to do? Baby, I'm so blue. On a golf course, I'm under par on a nice day. Metro Goldwyn has asked me to start. We haven't talked pay. I got a house and showplace. Still I don't get no place with you. You're so supreme. Lyrics I write of you and I scheme just for the sight of you. Dream both day and night of you. But what good does it do? I've been consulted by Dwight D. Princess Kelly had me to tea, but you've got me downhearted, 'cause I can't get started with you. I've run 100 yards in 10 flat. Adam Monjus copied my hat. With Queens I've a la carte, but I don't get started with you. All the leading tailors copy my style. Toothpaste ads feature my smile. Westerbilts and the Vanderbilts I visit, but say, tell me, what is it with you? Man, you give me that halibut eye every time I come by. When first we met, how you related me past. Well, I want to tell you, you devastated me. Yeah. Now you've deflated me till you're my Waterloo. You know that really, when you come to think about it, I'm no fool. With Lola Bridget, I've taken Pasta Fazool, oh, consistently. But lately how I've smarted, 'cause I can't get started with you.
This aptly segues us to the next featured bugler. It is unclear whether Pete Moore, Ken Barnes or Kenny Baker initiated the idea to showcase the trumpet on I Can't Get Started as a tribute to Bunny Berrigan, the song most associated with Berrigan. In fact, I listened to a recording of it last night before going to bed to get in the mood ready for this morning. On a 1944 Kraft Music Hall, Bing allegedly learnt that both Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey could both play trumpet and ask who plays better. In unison, as a joke, they answer Harry James, but in truth, they both would have said Bunny Berrigan. This was probably the one thing that Tommy and Jimmy did not argue about. Berrigan worked for the Dorseys, Paul Whiteman, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller before leading his own groups from 1937 to 1942. Financial difficulties saw him return as a soloist with Tommy Dorsey in 1940. Like Bix, Berrigan struggled with alcoholism and died only aged 41 in 1942. While with the Dorsey brothers in the early 1930s, Berrigan played with Bing, and I've chosen Stay on the Right Side of the Road, Take B. Pay particular attention as Bunny plays between Bing's vocal lines before taking the lead in the instrumental chorus.
Down in Jimtown, Tennessee, Deacon Amos Lowdown Lee shouts religion to a trifling flock. All week long he stays away, but on Sunday that's his day. You should see that church begin to rock. Sinners hit the trail when he starts in to wail. Stay on the right side, sister. Stay on the right side, sister. Stay on the right side of the road. Look out for old man Satan. He's on the wrong side waiting. Keep on the bright side of the road. Once you let the devil take your hand, you'll never get to Hallelujah land. I see a great day dawning. You'd better heed my warning. Stay on the right side of the road. Stay on the right side, sister. Do not delay. Line up with the righteous. Yeah.
Sorry, just my little joke there with Bugs Bunny. Ian, you just said nice angle there. Are you talking about the angle that he plays trumpet? Is that he's facing upward, his mouth is down. Can you all see me, Jason? Is everyone seeing me at the moment?
Aaron,
no,
sorry,
just the screen. No.
I actually meant your subject matter. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say it's an unusual technique or unusual position that Bunny's playing in, because the trumpet naturally sits on the mouth here, not at the angle he's playing. So I'm wondering if he had an underbite that his bottom teeth went over his top teeth, because it is an unusual position to be playing the trumpet. Anyway, I continue. So the next bugler featured was inspired by Bunny Berrigan, Cappy Lewis, played with the Woody Herman Band, which is where he crossed. Sorry, I'll say that again. The next bugler featured was inspired by Bunny Berrigan. Cappy Lewis played with the Woody Herman Band, which is where he crossed paths with Bing. I initially wanted to use a favourite recording of mine, due in part to Cappy's vibrant solo, but Anton recently featured Deep in the Heart of Texas in his presentation on Bing's country music, and Jason used I Ain't Got Nobody in Bing's jazz singing presentation. Fortunately, Bing's career offers plenty of options. However, before anyone else beats me to the turntable, I have chosen The Whistler's Mother-in-Law, Take B, a particular favourite of a dear departed friend of mine. We will hear Cappy Lewis on trumpet, Woody Herman on clarinet, Muriel Lane on vocal, and as the title would suggest, Bing gets to whistle.
If you're whistling 'cause you're happy, be very careful, Pappy. No telling just what a whistler's mother-in-law will do. Although Mammy's around the kitchen, attending to her stitching, there's Granny behind the door, keeping an eye on you. She's got a direct suspicion you aim to do some fishing. Your whistling, I declare, gave it away for sure. But I reckon you might have known it, might just as well postpone it. You ain't gonna go nowhere except on a lecture tour.
John, John, that's what I'm a-calling. Hurry up and hold that call.
Ah, me.
Doggone, I'm not only stalling. This old lady's up to something, shows your ball.
Just you listen to Granny cackle, she's found your fishing tackle. A whistle for all your plans, now for the good they'll do. Look at Granny, she's got the flivver, she's heading for the river. Well, isn't that like a man's mother-in-law for you?
Yesterday.
Doggone, I'm not only stalling. This old lady's up to something, shows your ball.
Yes, you listen to Granny cackle, she's found your fishing tackle. A whistle for all your plans, now for the good they'll do. Look at Granny, she's got the flivver, she's heading for the river. Well, isn't that like a man's mother-in-law for you?
The next bugler, Muggsy Spanier, was a pioneer of the Chicago style, bridging the traditional Dixieland and swing eras. Muggsy played with Ted Lewis and Ben Pollack before forming his own group. Pianist Joe Bushkin, known to us for Bing's concert tours, worked for him. Muggsy also played with the Bob Crosby Band for a time. It is here where he crossed paths with Bing. We'll listen to Bing's duet with Connie Boswell of Yes Indeed, Take C. Bing amusingly refers to Muggsy as Brother Chowderhead, which testifies of the camaraderie Bing had with musicians.
Now, has you got it, Sister Constance? Tell me, has you got it?
Yes, I got it, Brother Bingston. Now you knows I got it.
Now, has you got that rhythm in you?
Yeah, I think I got that rhythm in me.
Then you got it, Sister Constance. I swear, I do believe that you got it. You will shout when it hits you, yes indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, you'll shout when it hits you, yes indeed.
Oh, yes, indeed.
When the Spirit moves you, you'll shout hallelujah.
Hallelujah, brother.
When it hits you, you'll holler, yes indeed.
Oh, Pops, I'm here, and I dig you, yes, indeed.
Oh, yes indeed.
While I'm here, let me hip you, yes, indeed.
Oh, hip me, do that to me, hip
When
me.
that jive starts jumping, I shout hallelujah. Oh, I'm in there, yes, indeed.
Now, Brother Chowderhead, he got it in him, yes indeed.
Now, boy, you can say that again.
He digs deep in the middle, yes indeed.
Oh, yes, indeed.
How he blows his top when he riffs, hallelujah.
Hallelujah, brother.
Oh, dig it out on your horn, Brother Chowderhead. Dig it. It comes out if it's in you, yes indeed.
Yes, indeed. When you jump, boy, it sends you, yes, indeed. When that feeling's on you, you shout hallelujah. When it hits you, you holler, yes, indeed.
So I don't actually have a pixie mute with me at home, but the plunger is just an ordinary, good old-fashioned plumbing plunger with the handle taken off. That's all it is, just a piece of rubber. Probably the cheapest accessory that any trumpet player would ever buy. Continuing with Bing's younger brother, our next bugler is Yank Lawson, a founding member of the Bob Crosby Band. Earlier, he played alongside Muggsy and Ben Pollack's trumpet section. Lawson also worked for Benny Goodman and Tommy Dorsey and later co-led a Dixieland group with bassist Bob Haggart. Yank Lawson is featured here with Matty Matlock's clarinet on When My Dreamboat Comes Home.
When my dreamboat comes home, then my dreams no more will roam. I will meet you and greet you, hold you closely, my own. Moonlit waters will sing of the tender love you bring. We'll be sweethearts forever when my dream boat comes home. My dream boat comes home, then my dreams no more will roam. I will meet you, and I'm gonna greet you, hold you closely, my own. Moonlit waters will sing of the tender love you bring. We'll be sweethearts forever when my dream boat comes home. Home, the hills of home, dreamboat, bring it on home.
Before moving on to our final featured soloist, I want to say this list of buglers is far from comprehensive. There are many more trumpet players I would have liked to feature, but time does not allow. My original playlist had 22 tracks and was still growing. I pared it down to 11 songs for today. Bing was right to call himself lucky, considering the number of exceptional musicians he worked with. Whenever you listen to Bing, contemplate the wonderful instrumentalists supporting him. Bing's recordings give us the opportunity to discover and appreciate other great musicians. Our final bugler joined the jazz scene in the 1920s, working alongside Muggsy Spanier. He would become known through his work with the Eddie Condon Band. Wild Bill Davison earned his nickname for his heavy drinking and womanizing in his younger days. However, the moniker also aptly suits his cornet tone. We get a taste of his wild sound in the 3 tracks he made with Bing. They are here together with the Eddie Condon Band on After You've Gone.
After you've gone and left me crying, after you've gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue, you'll feel sad. You'll miss the dearest pal you've ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it. There'll come a time when you'll regret it. Someday when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine. You'll want me only after you've gone away.
After you've gone, left me crying. After you've gone, there's no denying. You'll feel blue, you'll feel sad. Miss the dearest pal you've ever had. There'll come a time, now don't forget it. There'll come a time when you regret it. Someday, when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine. You'll want me only after you've gone away.
Oh, well done, Aaron. That was fantastic. It was just superb. Well done to you.
Thank you. As I said, I had a lot of fun putting that together.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I had a lot of fun rehearsing it on my own as well during the week, Aaron. I didn't want to wake you up, you see. So first of all, though, guys, I just wanted to apologise for people that were waiting in the waiting room to get in, because what I found was, and I found this during the rehearsals, was if I clicked admit or anything on the toolbar, it would interrupt the music. So I had to wait until Aaron was speaking before I could then admit people in. So apologies if you had to wait for that. So, but I just want to say, because early on, before we started the session tonight and before we started recording, we were talking about Bing's hats, and I certainly take my hat off to Aaron, because that was entertaining. Even though there was a lot of technical information, it was absolutely riveting, and there are a number of tracks there, because all of the music was fantastic anyway, that I will listen to with different ears after that presentation. So again, thanks so much, Aaron. It really was superb. I wanted to say also that I think I learned a couple of things as well. I always thought the cornet was for keeping your ice cream in for a start, so that got that one out of the way. And I was absolutely devastated, as I'm sure you guys were, to learn that the Muppets didn't play their own instruments. So you just destroyed a big part of my childhood there, Aaron. You really did.
Well, I
and the other
remember
thing,
shattering that on me when I was about 6 or 7. He said, "You know, the Muppets aren't actually playing." I went, "What?"
yeah, it's as I say, it's at the time as a kid watching, you couldn't believe that they weren't playing, could you? Really, it was all part of it. Including Animal on the drums, like it had to be him,
Is it true he was based on Buddy Rich?
Animal. I thought it was a rock drummer that they based Animal on.
Oh.
Yeah.
The other thing was the track that is overdubbed, the Buddy Cole session that's overdubbed by Kenny Baker. I don't think in our meetings we've played any from that set. So, and I was just reminded when I was putting this together, and you were picking the tracks, Aaron, just how good some of those soloists were that overdubbed on those tracks. So, if anybody wants to stand up and do something in the future on those Buddy Cole sessions that Ken Barnes and Pete Moore overdubbed, feel free. Otherwise, I'll look into that myself. But yeah, really, it was fascinating. I don't know if anybody has anything to say about anything they saw or heard there, because it was really was quite special, wasn't it?
Jason, did you want me to just quickly tell the story about my own trumpets quickly?
Yes, if you've got them to hand, that's great.
Yeah, so this is my Bach 37 trumpet that I always play. I've had this since I was 16. I don't know how well you see it, but all the lacquer is wearing off. It's going back to its matte finish almost. A friend of mine played the same trumpet. He ran over his, sadly, accidentally. But he's bought himself a new Bach 37. He said that he couldn't find anything better. And there's a wonderful jazz trumpet player from Canada, Bria Skonberg. She plays this model, and I think, well, if it's good for her, I'm pleased I'm on it. But when I was a child, before I started playing, my parents took me to see a friend of theirs play, and it's the first time I heard trumpet live. My knowledge of trumpet was just from recordings and televisions up to that point. And I got to become friends with Merv and got to sit beside him in trumpet sections over the years. and eventually conducted him in sections. And he always promised me that he'd leave me his trumpet. And I thought, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. One of those things that are just said in flippantly. And sure enough, he passed away about 3-4 years ago. About 2 months after he died, his lawyer rang me and said, you're mentioned in his will. And I said, I think I know what that will be. So here is Merv's trumpet. And I feel very fortunate because how many people say they actually play not the instrument they heard as a child, but they actually play the instrument they heard as a child. And I always tell this one to my students. So I alternate when I'm teaching as one day I'll use mine and one day I'll use Merv's just to keep them both working. So I feel very fortunate to be playing that and have wonderful memories of playing alongside him. So that's also a Bach trumpet. It's an older model than mine, but and this one converts. Most of the trumpets and cornets are pitched in B flat, which is up to here. This one can actually convert to a C trumpet. And in the photographs on the second slide tonight, I actually had this done as the C trumpet. So it's a shorter trumpet, higher pitch sounding trumpet, and much brighter in tone. Very good for classical playing. So there we go.
So one or two people have put in the chat they wanted to hear you play a riff, Aaron. But you have to remember, guys, it's like 6:45 in the morning where Aaron is. He'll have everybody out of bed.
Fortunately, I'm on acreage. The neighbours are far enough away. My kids have got up and go to work by now, and my wife's a nurse. She's on night duty, so she's not home yet. So the next song okay. Well, the next song I was going to choose was going to be the Decca recording of I'm an Old Cow Hand. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Right
Well done.
Yeah, that was fabulous. And again, thanks so much.
Better, but anyway.
I wonder if anybody else noticed that Yank Larson and Bing Crosby shared a birthday of May 3rd.
Oh,
cool. I didn't know that, but I recently did a presentation for the Manchester Jazz Society on the world's greatest jazz band of Yank Lawson and Bob Haggart, and I hadn't made the connection with his birthday. I noticed, Jim, in the chat you put that you saw Wild Bill Davison. I have a lot of his LPs when he was playing with Eddie Condon. A great admirer of his. When did you see him?
It was around 1985. Yeah, I have some of his recordings. There used to be this great Sacramento Jazz Dixieland Festival, and I went a couple times with some friends from college who lived in the Bay Area. And back then there were still some big names. I know Jack Teagarden was gone, but his sister and I think Cub played once, and there was still a Condom Gang. There were still some alumni of Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. But yeah, I saw Wild Bill, and I love his playing. He's one of my favorites, definitely.
Superb.
So
okay, guys, I think we're still reeling a bit from that, Aaron. It was a wonderful first half presentation. You certainly had me working harder than I think I've worked on any previous meetings. So again, thanks for that. If it's okay with folks, we just take a break for a few minutes. Aaron, are you staying with us, or do you have to head off to work?
Stay through today. I was just going to say, Jim said about the shared birth date of Yank Lawson and Bing Crosby. When I was doing the research and typing in, it dawned on me that Frankie Trumbauer died on the day that Bing was in the recording studio with the Buddy Bregman group. So it's interesting that Bing was recording jazz on the day that Frankie Trumbauer died.
Cool. Okay, yeah, thanks, everybody. Let's just take a short break and resume on the hour, if that's okay. Obviously, the meeting stays open if you want to carry on chatting.
I know we're a couple of weeks past St. Valentine's Day, but I wonder if anybody's ever seen a Bing Crosby Valentine card.
That's brilliant. That is fabulous. But do we know what the date is of that, Jim, or is it a recent?
Well, it's a drawing. It's not a picture.
Ah, okay.
And there's nothing on the other side except who it was from and to, so that's all the information I have.
Yeah, I think that's how it's supposed to work, Jim. You're not supposed to know who the sender is.
That's nice.
Very cute.
Aaron?
Hello.
Yeah. Just out of interest, when I last left Wig Wiggins, just weeks before he died, he gave me 378s, and there were test pressings. And one of those test pressings was the Whistler's mother-in-law.
Oh, wow.
And
Yep.
that's what's used on the Jonzo CD.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's just interesting. I think they will have come from Howard Levine or someone like that. And Wig obviously couldn't pass them on because those people had died by the time those records were used. So they were pressing from the Decca vaults. Now, you just gave me the 378s before, and one of which is the Whistler's mother-in-law.
So is that which tape was that one? Was that the C tape? Because there
C
was
tape. Yeah, I think it's a C.
And originally, I was going to use tape C, but I went with tape B because that's the 78 from my friend Les's collection that sits down just here in a cupboard below me here. Oh, we're echoing. There we go. Yeah.
Aaron, you had a wonderful PowerPoint, one of the best I have ever seen. And it was really one of the most interesting presentations I think that we have ever heard.
Oh, no, don't say that. There's been lots of interesting ones. Anamika's one on the,
yes.
I think we're all echoing. That one was amazing. And yours, when you delved into the tracks from the Country Girl, Pantelis.
Thank you very much.
We all share and learn. It's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you for appreciating this one.
It's very, very interesting. And all those details and all the history of the trumpet. I never knew the difference between a trumpet and a cornet before your presentation.
Yeah, I do have a cornet, but it's right down the other end of the house. It's not really playable. It belonged to my uncle, and he gave it to me. He's still alive, but he just wasn't interested in playing it anymore. And it's not the best because something's physically wrong with it that it's not worth fixing. But I should have brought it up just to show face to face the difference between them. I don't know why I'm echoing. Can you all hear that?
I think there's somebody must have not muted themselves, and you can hear. I don't know who it is. Maybe now. Yeah. Maybe better now.
Yeah. There we go.
Anyway, Aaron, I just wanted to tell you, it was not just the content, which is fantastic, and also the selection of songs, which is great, but it was just the idea of it, just coming up with the idea if we're going to do this and tie it to a specific instrument, and it's really a great idea.
We mentioned names of musicians, and I thought that's where I got the idea. I thought, well, why not one specific instrument and highlight? Yeah. So that's where.
But it can be done with other instruments, is what I mean. It could be the trombone, or it could be the piano, or it could be whatever. So that was great.
I've already got a trombone list going, so I might be back. I'm not going to flood the meetings though, but and I said to Jason when I was researching, and I realised, so this is a really down the track one. That first track of My Honey's Love and Arms, when I saw Joe Venuti's dates, and I thought 1978. Well, in 2 years' time will be 50 years since he passed away. So I've got 2 years to get it together. I'd like to do a feature on Bing and Joe Venuti together.
That'd be fabulous. Yeah. Ain't Doing Bad, Doing Nothing is one of my favourites, in fact.
Yeah.
And My Honey's Love and Arms has always been one of my favorite early Crosby tracks. It's just so infectious. And, there's other versions. And he did more than one version, probably.
I don't know if you were on at that stage. I've used started with a Chesterfield show version because I showcased Louis Armstrong's trumpet playing in that one. Yeah, Lewis doesn't actually.
It's the first one, actually, Anton. It'll be the first one if you get the chance to.
Yeah, I was
to hear that.
I was a little late today, so I missed that one. But I'll listen to it on the recording. It really is a great performance, and it's a really nice tune. Really, it's every time I listen to that song, I'm humming it for days afterwards. So.
Yeah. The ones that send you off to sleep because they're going around in your head so much. But the song number 4 was The Blues. And that's what was one of those David Currington provided to you, Aaron. And I think that one is absolutely fabulous with Wingy Manone and Connie Boswell on there. And I'm sure for anybody on here tonight that was hearing that for the first time, you'll be keen to get back onto YouTube and hear it again, because it was the first time I'd heard it when Aaron sent it through kindly from David Currington. So really, there was some fantastic stuff on there. The other one that always struck me is the 1952 recording with Red Nichols on cornet of Ida, Sweet as Apple Cider. When you hear that song, 1952, and think about Bing's disciples who were around at that time, whether it was Sinatra, Dean Martin, Perry Como, whomever, nobody was going to be able to sound like that on that particular record. Absolutely fabulous. Cool. So again, thanks so much for that, Aaron. So is Michael still? Oh, Michael. Okay. We're going to restart then. I think everybody back. Is Pantelis here? Got his camera off. So we're going to restart. And Michael, you've got some very interesting news about your study that yourself and I think Bob Phillips may have been helping out on the origins of the club. So just tell me, I'll put the first picture up, but just tell me when you want to bring in the others. Yeah.
Okay.
When you're ready. So can you start, Michael? I'm just going to share the screen now.
Oh, okay. Well, everyone will realise, of course, that we're in our 90th anniversary year of the club. And over the years, quite a number of people have tried to track down Jason?
Yeah, you okay?
All right. No, it's the other one that wants to come up first.
Okay, which one? Sorry.
The other, the Club Crosby one, with Bing down on the front in the square.
Sorry, yeah, I've got it. There we go.
Okay. So over the years, I think you will have noted from things that I've said in the magazine that I've tried to find out how the club actually began, and what that date was. And just to remind you that Greg, Pat Sullivan, Ruth Ness, 2 previous presidents of the club, did a lot of work, but always said at the end of what they had discovered, that the origins of the club remained unknown. Well, I think we can now change that with the information that I now have to report to you. So Malcolm, at my behest, did a little research, which he's very good at, to try to find out if we could find out where our first president, Celia Joseph, lived. And he found a clipping from 1937, which told us that Celia Joseph of Vasselborough, Maine, was our first president. Not only that, she had 400 members and was running a club for Bing. But this was late in 1937. So it didn't say how the club began or how long it had been in existence. But following on from that, I sent information to Bob, my colleague Bob Phillips, and he then did diligently researched the article and came up with the history of Celia in her hometown where she lived all her life. That was good because in the end, Bob located her daughter, who is still, of course, alive. And the wonderful thing about discovering her daughter was that she revealed to us that she had an archive of a big archive that she'd bequeathed to her daughter, which included a lot of Bing material. So I asked her if she'd be kind enough to look through the archive, which she said was very extensive. And luckily, she discovered what you see on the screen now. And this is a 24-page document. And you will note the date, it's March 1937. And at the top is the Club Crosby. But in the middle, rather cleverly, is Bing Gang. And now I think this is the first time that Bing Gang is used in the magazine. But it's rather clever how she's got Bing down the side and Gang at the bottom. And I don't think that occurred anymore, because in a moment you'll see how it would feature going forward. So on the first page, following what you'll see on the screen, we have Celia, now the president of the club, telling us how it all came about. And it came about with a 3-word, here it is, a handwritten letter from Bing, which said, "Go to it." Now, I guess that would be in the latter part of 1936. But here she is reporting that formally she could form a club. Larry Crosby then writes to say that it would be a good idea to have a competition to determine the name of the club. And what Celia does on that first page is report that they had the competition, they sent the information back to Hollywood, and Larry came back to say, "We've chosen Bing Gang as the name of your journal." And that's the very first time that it would be used on what you've just seen on the screen. The winner of the contest received a prize from Larry, and for the next 67 years, the magazine would be called Bing Gang. But this, what you're looking at, is the first page of the first issue of Bing Gang. Now, Club Crosby, I suspect the newsletter that would be called Club Crosby before it was officially a fan club, would circulate in 1936. And in the magazine, there's also a reference to another Crosby club. And I think this is the one that Greg referred to in his article when he wrote up the history of the club some time ago, where it merges with the what is now Club Crosby. So if you can put up the next slide, please, Jason.
Yeah, which one? No,
that's the one. That's okay. Now,
okay,
you'll see that this is Volume 1, Number 3 of Bing Gang, 1937, for June, July, August. The next one, Number 4, Greg has a copy. I only have the front page, Greg, so I'd be obliged at some time if you could send me an email covering the rest of it, and I will share this with you so that you will have issues 1 and 3 of Bing Gang. In number 3, it refers to Volume 2, which is for the previous 2 months to this. making the one that you saw at the beginning number one. Now, I haven't got number two yet, but I suspect it will look something like this. And I think this was the style of the magazine, probably for the 1930s, when Cecilia was the first president. She was a remarkable lady. She made friendships with so many stars, but Nora told me that they were for life. And people like Errol Flynn, Jimmy Stewart, and so on, all became friends of Celia. And she was friendly with their families until the day she died. And she lived until 2002. So it's such a shame that we didn't know that and realize who the first president was, and the fact that she was, of course, alive for many, many years when we might have made contact with her. But at least she has left us the first issue of the magazine, in which there's a lot more to talk about, but probably not time now. So in 3, Bing writes, the April-May issue of Bing Gang is really great, and I am very pleased to be honorary president of such a fine publication and organisation. So here is Bing supporting the club right from the outset. He then sends another letter in which he says that he hopes to finish Double or Nothing soon, and then Del Mar for the opening of the new track. Best wishes to the gang. So we have now final proof of when the club began. We have the first issue of Bing Gang, and now we have the third, and Greg has the fourth. I don't think we've got any more from 1937, but nevertheless, I think we now know about the beginnings of the club. And Nora, the daughter of Cecilia, is going to share more information with us when she gets an opportunity to look further through the archive. Now, next thing I'd like to look at is a letter that Cecilia received in 1953, long after she'd ceased to be involved with the club. And if anyone has had a letter from Bing or seen a letter from Bing, it usually looks like this. This is 1953. My letters look like this, with the blue ink, Bing Crosby Hollywood at the top, and Bing signing his signature, more or less like it is at the bottom there. But what's interesting about this letter is that Bing says that he's just finishing a picture called White Christmas, etc., etc. He goes on to talk about his General Electric contributions, and in his typical way saying that whatever he's doing is not too pretentious. And at the bottom of the letter, just out of interest, he's saying to Cecilia, bear in mind this is 1953, that he sends his best wishes to little Nora. This is the lady that has shared this with us. So that's the origins of the club. Now, we've got a slide, I think, of the club presidents. If you can put that up, please, Jason. So thanks to the research done by Greg and the two presidents that I referred to earlier, this is a list of all the presidents from 1937 to 2003. All of them ladies until we reach Al Sutton and Mark, of course. And I'm familiar with the four at the bottom, but the others, of course, predate any involvement that I have with the club. But just here at the top, there's just question marks about the length of service, and I may well be able to fill that in when I get more information from Nora. And the only person whose hometown I don't know and state is Peggy Plager. All this leads me to wonder whether we have a lot of members in Mississippi, whether they can track down Kay Browning, and we might then find, more earlier versions of the magazine. So I hope you'll find that of interest. It's, to me, for a very long time, I wanted to know how it all started, and the magazine that you saw at the beginning tells that story. So the club magazine dates to the beginning of 1937, but the Club Crosby will go back into 1936. So I hope you find that of interest. I'll write this up in the magazine.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully you'll write that for the magazine, Michael. Just before we move on, then, do you want to say a word about the CD you put on my radar earlier? I'll put it on the screen.
All right, yes, please do. We have a member in New York called Roger Score. He's been a member for many, many years. And he recently sent me this CD, and I said that I would give it a plug, in the sense that Roger is a contributor to it as a writer, and I don't know whether you can see that, but he's on track 4. He lives in New York, and he wrote the song. It's a tribute to Rosemary Clooney, and on this same CD, it's something by Al Rinker. I think that's track 2.
Yeah.
And of course we've got Let's Start the New Year Right at the bottom with Berlin, and When Winter Comes by Berlin at the top. If anyone's interested, just let me know. I just told Roger, he's a long-standing member of the club, and if anyone's interested, this is a lady who's got a very pleasant voice, very talented, with some nice backing. And it's a very pleasant CD, and just good to know.
I had a look to see if it was available on Spotify, Michael. Unfortunately, none of her albums, Maud Hickson's albums, are on there. Although there are a couple of podcasts where she was talking about some records. But I noticed this was recorded in Minneapolis as well, here just last year, right? 2025.
Yeah, yes, and she's made a CD with Arnie Fogel, who many of you will be familiar with.
Yes,
which features a lot of Bing material.
Cool. Thanks for that, Michael.
Okay, so I hope that's of interest. I just one little point. I've thanked Bob for his contribution, of course, but Bob, I didn't actually know how you came to talk to Nora, how you found a number.
It was quite a search. I started with the article that Malcolm, I think, found and identified her daughter as the president. I searched for her all over and found her in Maine, where she said she lived, except that we had a problem with her birthday. And she said she was 17 in the newspaper article. It turned out that she was 22. And so I plowed through every other Cecilia I could find in Maine, and I kept coming back to that one. And so I found the historian for that area of Maine, and I sent it to Michael. And Michael, you sent me the obituary for Cecilia. And in the obituary had her daughter's name. So I used that to go searching and said she lived in New York State, and I found her, or I found such a person in New York State, near Poughkeepsie. She worked down near the West Point, across the river on West Point. And I sent her a message to her work address and got a message back from her saying, yes, I am the one. So I knew we had it, and I sent it off to Michael, and Michael then has been, I called her on the phone first and confirmed everything, and then sent the data to Michael, and Michael now has been retrieving the information from the daughter. The daughter claims she has a lot of files, but she has them stored away in the basement somewhere, I guess, as we all do from our past histories. So hopefully,
I don't know whether, I don't think you will have seen this. This is her on the right-hand side of the picture in August 1937, when the lady opposite came to interview her for the article, and that lady is the lady that wrote the book that Ted Crosby said was his, but wasn't.
Right.
All the background and all she must have been the ghostwriter or whatever. But she basically wrote, being the 1937 Ted Crosby book. But she was up there to interview her, and they both went to see Bob Crosby and were involved with him, and that's all in this particular article. So we at least have a picture of our first president.
That's fantastic. And well done to both you guys and, of course, everybody else involved in the research. And let's see what other intriguing artifacts we might receive from Nora in the coming weeks.
Well, we burned up the internet quite a bit searching for all the files and trying to get to the bottom of it, but we finally made it. So it turns out she only lives about 3 hours from where I am.
Well, what I like about the whole
just 3 hours,
the whole start of the club is Bing's handwritten letter, just 3 words: go to it.
Yeah.
In other words, start the fan club. And that's how it all started. And here we are 90 years later. Quite wonderful, really.
Yeah, it is. And well done, guys. It's really important, I think, for everybody, not just the generations that were at the beginning of the ICC, but those of us that have just joined in the last 40 or 50 years, just to know so much about this, the history of the club. And now we're documenting it, and we're getting some of that evidence, and we're putting it into the magazine, and we're capturing it on our YouTube videos. So it really is fabulous.
Just one final point. That list of presidents, no one did a stint greater than 13 years. But since 2003 to now, 23 years, myself, Malcolm, and the team, that's a long spell. Yeah. Who will succeed us? Will they take it to 100 years? Hopefully. Hopefully.
We need to hand out some long service awards, I think, Michael.
Yeah, well, I'll try and get in touch with the people in Mississippi. I think we've got a lot of new members, thanks to one particular member, and see if they can do a bit of research on the second president, which will, again, fill in some of the story. And, of course, what is wonderful about reading these 2 early magazines, they're off to see Double or Nothing, they're off to see Mississippi, and they're going in groups.
Yeah.
Big groups of people to the cinema, hundreds of them to see Bing. It's amazing, really.
And having to queue around the block when they get there. That's amazing. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, thanks again, guys. So there's just one other item I want to cover in this section before we move on to our second presentation for today. And that is, you remember when the house in Hillsborough went on the market last year and we showed part of the real estate agent's video? Well, Greg pointed me to a video of the house under its new occupancy. Now, not much has changed inside other than the furnishings, of course, but there is a major change to the outside of the house, as you'll see. So let me just share this with you. Yeah, look, there you'll see this amazing pool that's been installed. And you remember when Bing bought the house in 1964, sometime shortly after, he did say that he filled in a pool because of obviously having the young children running around. So for safety reasons, he filled in the pool. But you'll get some other angles of this in a moment. Yeah, and look here what's on the wall, guys. This portrait, this photograph that we know was taken on the 8th of October 1977 at the London Palladium. In fact, I think that may have been the night that Ken was there and met Bing backstage. And I'd like to think that that picture there on the wall is going to be a permanent fixture and is not just there for this publicity video. Yeah, quite beautiful. But I think that at that point we can now firmly close the door on the house where Bing and Catherine lived together. Okay, moving on now.
I must agree with Camellia. If we could all live like that,
yeah.
You need a lot of guests to keep it going.
Yeah, it's well, it's quite inspiring, though, isn't it? Really, to see.
I have a question, Jason, for Michael. How long is that first issue of Bing Gang? How many pages? Because I wrote in the chat that I think it would be a nice idea if we could afford it to do a facsimile edition of that very first issue for distribution among fans, and maybe it's not very long, and it would be an easy and kind of cheap thing to do.
Oh, a wonderful idea, Anton. I'll just get the book.
Yeah, that would be a great souvenir, especially for this year, for the 90th anniversary, if we could make that.
Well, and if it is expensive, we can sell it. We can have a system of pre-ordering.
There's 14 pages.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not the usual 56.
You'll notice that at the end, they're saluting Jimmy Stewart and Errol Flynn.
Oh.
Lifelong friends of Cecilia. Well, that's an excellent idea. And we can certainly, we'll look into it. And I'm sure that we can afford it. It's 14 pages and it's quite interesting, to say the least.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, great idea, Anton.
We'll take that up, Anton, and I'll talk to Malcolm about it.
Cool. So the scene of the pool at the house seems to have sparked a bit of conversation about the different state laws about whether a pool needs to be fenced in or not. Maybe that's for another time.
A great title for a song.
Sure. Okay, we'll move on then. So sorry if everybody can mute their microphones again, please, with the exception of Stephen, who I have to say, what possible link could we have between Bing and the Midland city of Coventry in England? So that's not Coventry in Rhode Island, by the way. So Stephen's going to share with us an interesting find. I'll put the slide up on the screen, Stephen, and then you just go whenever you're ready, my friend.
Perfect.
Okay, give me a sec.
Yeah, no.
Okay, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I was at an event in Birmingham recently, and I had a bit of spare time the next day, so I took the short trip by train down to Coventry to visit the Phil Silvers Museum that's there. It's the world's only museum dedicated to life and work of this great American comedian. And I've been a couple of times. It is always worth a visit. It's a real treasure trove of items containing Phil's personal effects and memorabilia that relate to his extensive work in film, radio, stage, television, and including, of course, and highlighted most prominently is the unforgettable Sergeant Bilko, as you can see there in the picture there. So those of you who, like myself, grew up watching Sergeant Bilko on the Phil Silver Show will no doubt remember the classic opening cartoon title sequence in the middle there. And the museum is actually fortunate enough to have two of the original animation cells there on the far left and far right. Other items in the museum include articles of his clothing. My favorite was his smoking jacket shown on the right hand side there. They have his pipes, his glasses, his watch, the actual manuscript of his autobiography, a sort of letters and other various scripts and photos, and even his personal address book, which incredibly on the page they had it open has Dick Van Dyke's number, among others. There's also a fantastic collection of items relating to his various films, his TV roles, with original costumes and signed photos and lobby cards, and also what has got to be the biggest collection of Bilko merchandise, books, comics, photos, advertising, paraphernalia, toys, board games, and the list literally goes on and on. One of the museum's newest acquisitions is the latex head that was created for the portray bill for a 12-second sketch on the satirical TV show Spitting Image in 1987. Now, in fairness, it probably has aged a lot better than most of us who were around that era. Sadly, though, the museum does not have the Bing Crosby one I've shown there in the bottom right-hand corner. I believe that sold at auction some years back. No idea how much, unfortunately. Now, as we know, Phil and Bing were very good friends in real life, and they regularly socialized outside the working environment. Professionally, of course, they worked on several episodes of the Craft Music Hall radio show and on tours for the United Service Organization. Now, the group photo on the bottom left-hand corner there is taken from one such tour in 1942 and shows Bing, Phil, Frank Sinatra, and Judy Garland, which you'll agree adds up to a pretty impressive concert. The picture on the top left with Danny Kaye there is from the set of White Christmas, where apparently Phil just dropped by one day just to say hello to Bing and to Danny. Phil asked Bing would he appear on an episode of the Phil Silver Show inside Bilko, and Bing jumped at the chance, so much so apparently he arrived next day, catching Phil unawares. So they actually shot the end of the show, the bit with Bing in it, and then wrote the story around that and tried to figure out how they were going to end up at that space. The actual story ends. The show story ends up that Phil Silvers as Bilko sells tickets to a Bing Crosby show. Of course, it doesn't have Bing Crosby, so it has a look like there on the right hand in the yellow shirt. And then the real Bing Crosby arrives. Um, Phil also got 5 Crosbys that day instead of, or 6 Crosbys, in fact, that day instead of just the one, because Bing arrived with his 4 sons and with his brother Everett in uncredited roles. And that episode aired in January 1957. Now, as we know, Phil, Bing liked to give specially commissioned gifts, small tokens of his esteem to his friends at Christmas time. And these were personal items like pens, lighters, penknives, key fobs, money clips, and they're usually engraved with his very recognizable signature. He used to give these out as well to colleagues on film sets, and just tokens of his appreciation. Now, as you can see from these photographs, um, but I saw it online, there are quite a few examples of the kind of gifts that he gave out, and they come up from time to time in various auction houses and sales. And while I was looking through the exhibits of Phil's personal possessions in a case, one item with Bing's very recognizable signature caught my eye. Now, this is a small two-blade penknife that Bing gave to Phil at Christmas time in 1948, and it's graved Christmas 48. That's how I know the date. And Bing, the Christmas part is actually a little bit more on weight, which shows probably the knife got a bit of use. As Phil, like Bing, was an avid pipe smoker, it's not hard to imagine that him sitting back and using this knife, cleaning out his pipes over the years. Now, the penknife actually remained in Phil's possession for nearly 40 years until he died in November 1985. And then it passed on to his family before being recently donated by his daughter to the museum, along with several other items of personal items of Phil's. Once the museum curator, who's Steve Everett, heard that I was a fan of Bing's, he generously opened up the case and let me examine the knife more closely, as you see in the photograph. And it was a bit of a thrill to hold an item that was associated with not one but 2 classic entertainers whom I admire. As we left the museum, and yes, I did return the knife, one other item caught my eye. Phil toured extensively with the Stephen Sondheim show. A funny thing happened on the way to the forum. And the display case as shown on the picture there is the programme at the princely sum of 10p from the Dublin leg of his tour from March 1974. As you can see from the programme, Phil performed at the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin, the exact same venue that Bing would appear as part of his 50th celebration tour 2 years later. So it's another nice little connection there with Bing Crosby. So that was my trip to the Phil Silvers Museum. I would recommend it if you're ever in that neck of the woods. Check it out. It's a privately owned, privately run museum by a fan of Phil Silvers, whose aim is just to keep his hero's memory alive and relevant, I think, in the modern world. And it's probably something all of us here on this call can relate to. I'd like to end up by playing a little part of Phil and Bing, if I may. This is called Coaching Bing Crosby to be Popular. And it's from one of the Craft Radio Hall shows. It's dated from the 16th of December, 1943. And we're used to the back and forth. Sorry, we're used to the quick fire back and forth between Bing and Bob Hope. But this is a different Bing sort of is the straight man here, and lets Phil do all the gags. Although he does get in one ad lib, I think, towards the end there. It's a great few minutes of radio, and it features Phil's his catchphrase, "Glad to see you." So you'll hear them say that quite a few times. So thanks, Jason. Thanks a lot.
Having just completed his joyous jaunt in the forthcoming 20th Century Fox picture, Four Jills in a Jeep, our friend Phil, glad to see you, Silvers, is once again free to visit the Old Craft Music Hall and give us the benefit of his wisdom.
Happy to do it for you, Bing. I can make you all the things you want to be. I can bring you to the point where people will welcome you at parties, will ask you to sing.
Really, Phil? Oh, Phil, if you only could.
If I only could, he's a foolish boy. Just put yourself in my hands and let me make you over with the Silver system of psychological adjustment. And don't forget, Silver spelled backwards is Shrevless.
What's Shrevless?
Silver spelled backwards. Makes it harder to remember.
Glad to see you.
Glad to see you.
Say, I studied a little psychology, Phil.
That's nice. Now to begin with,
Do you
Bing.
believe that Freud is incorrect in not mentioning the belief that a split libido attuned to an inferiority complex results in a feeling of superiority mingled with paranoia and megalomania?
I can answer that in a few words. Stock up on jelly beans. You won't be able to get a jelly bean for love or money. You can get those red and white ones, but you just can't get those little black ones anymore. However, enough of this. Come, Bing, let me show you how to attain popularity.
Are you popular?
Am I popular, Bing? You're not talking to some Johnny-come-lately. This is Silver's. Look at this invitation. Mr. and Mrs. J.L. Yarnell request your presence at their home on Christmas Eve. Formal.
You're going.
Too busy, can't make it. Well, here's another invitation.
Let me see this one.
Mr. and Mrs. Gerald L. Noonan request your presence for cocktails.
Oh, you'll be there.
Can't make it. Too busy. Well, here's one I haven't even opened yet. Let's see.
What's this?
Mr. Phil Silvers, readings. I'll make that one.
Really, I don't think you could do anything for my personality, old boy.
You'd be surprised, even yours. Why, we work wonders. Now, to begin with, if you want to make a favorable impression on people, don't talk with gravel in your mouth. Don't mumble. Speak clearly. The important thing to do is let your words come all the way from your stomach.
Pardon me, sir. Could I join in this conversation?
No long-distance calls over the holidays.
Please, Phil. Please, I think you all could do something for me. I think I have a complex.
John Scott, you have a duplex.
Glad to see you all.
Glad to see all of you. Now then, Bing, to be utterly successful, you must have a smile in your voice, especially when you sing. Have people asked you to sing lately?
Must I tell?
Be brave, Bing. If they haven't, it could be your personality.
Bad, huh?
Or it could be your brother Everett passing the hat. However, we shall see. Let me hear you sing something.
Won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always?
Cut. There you are. That's just what I mean. You treat your lyrics too lightly. The most important word in that phrase that you just sang is always. And you're throwing it away. Give it some importance. May I show you?
Please do.
Won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always. Now you try it.
Won't you tell me when we will meet again? Sunday, Monday, or always?
Maybe always is better. Let's forget about the whole thing. The important thing about the Silver's personality system is to make friends with people quickly.
Yes.
Why, the other day at a party, I walked into a room, went up to a total stranger, threw my arms around this stranger and said, "Let's be friends."
What happened?
I got slugged.
Well, why?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem to work on girls.
Well, Phil, do you subscribe to the theory of winning friends by putting yourself in the other fellow's place?
Ken, I was experimenting with that theory the other night.
What happened?
Fractured again.
You mean for trying to put yourself in another man's place?
She happened to be dancing with Linda Darnell at the time.
Glad to see you.
He wasn't.
Phil, you're just wasting my time.
Bing, you're fighting me. And may I say, another factor contributing to your inability to get along socially is bad memory. Bing, you must remember people's names. It flatters them. Why, I talked to a man 6 years ago in Seattle. 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't see him again until this morning and called him by his full name.
How do you do this?
Two things help me. One, association of ideas. Two, he happened to be my brother Harry.
Oh, you're definitely wasting my time. It was...
Fighting me, just fighting me all the time. Why, there is no man I can't make successful. Last week, I took a nameless beggar off Vine Street. He was begging for pennies. Why, I made him see the advantage of striving for bigger things. And in one short week, he no longer begs for pennies.
What does he do?
Begs for dimes.
What's wonderful about that?
I get 10%.
Oh, Phil, how can you do such a thing?
It's not what you do, Bing Laddie. It's what you think. Why, I know a man who walked for hours in the driving rain. He just kept his eyes turned upward at the dark clouds and with a beautiful smile on his face.
Why?
He was letting a smile be his umbrella.
Oh, yeah. Let a smile be your umbrella.
Grand old song.
From the picture.
From the picture, They Drive by Night. I know that. And would you believe it, Bing? The same fellow I was just talking about, just letting a smile be his umbrella, and he doubled what he had.
What did he have?
Pneumonia.
About the only thing I know now I can get a case of.
Well, Bing, why do you persist in clouding the issue? Friendship is a delicate flower. You plant the seeds of friendship, and they poke their little heads up and ripen.
Hello, Mr. Silvers.
Here's one little head that's overripe. Now get lost, kid. We'd like to be alone. Go along, scat, go. As I was saying, Bing, to make people appreciate your personality, you must sell yourself.
Exactly what I want to do.
Come around Monday. We're having a rummage sale. Run along. You see, Bing, the elementary object is to find the good in people. Sometimes you bring this out only through psychology, sometimes through reasoning.
Well, how could you find the good in me?
Radar. Bing, who is this foolish, headstrong, impetuous boy?
He's Yuki.
He's Yuki. Is that a name or a condition? Well, goodbye, Bing.
You going so soon?
Yes, I really must. And before I go, may I leave this one thought with you, Bing? As you travel up and down life's highways, you should ever feel the need of a true and loyal friend.
Yes, Phil.
Buy a dog.
Thanks for that, Stephen. And I don't know how many people may have visited that rather unique museum in Coventry, but it's certainly on my list now. So thanks for that, Stephen. Unfortunately, we weren't able to track down the clip of Bing on the Phil Silvers show. I did ask around a few people because I'm pretty sure I'd seen it on YouTube. But I hadn't captured it, and it's certainly not on YouTube anymore. I did have a VHS copy, but I recorded off TV a long time ago that I don't have anymore. But if anybody does have that, then please let me know, and we can always share it another time. Unfortunately, if you know the episode, Bing, despite all the hype with the lookalike, Bing doesn't get to sing. He does a recital. I think it's the Wreck of the Hesperus, if I can remember.
He does a piece of poetry.
Yes, yeah.
It's on the.
I have it in VHS form, and it's pretty widely available on VHS. I don't know if it was ever released on DVD.
Yeah, it's on the entire Bilko box set, the UK edition that was issued a few years ago, I believe.
All right. Thanks for that. I'm surprised you haven't got that, Stephen, actually. Being a big fan. Maybe they sell it in the museum. You'd have to go back.
Yeah, I'll have to go back, have a look.
Is it a chap called, did you say, or did you not say, a chap called Steve Everett that runs it?
Yes.
Yes. I joined his Bilko Appreciation Society when it opened, when it began about 1985, something like that. And it was just a couple of months before Phil died. We were all due to get together and hopefully meet him the next year. There was word of him possibly flying over to meet us and be at a convention, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Yeah.
I found the website for the museum after Stephen put it on my radar. Hopefully, you can see that on the screen. But it does say, that the British Phil Silvers Appreciation Society, although it claims to be the only Phil Silvers museum in the world, and it's in Coventry. Amazing.
Yes,
I think Steve was looking to join a Phil Silvers society, and then found there wasn't one, and that's there's no inherent connection with Coventry and Phil Silvers as far as I know, apart from the fact that that's where Steve lives.
Yeah, indeed. Great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Stephen. It's nice when these things come out of the blue and we learn a little bit, and also it gives us an opportunity to play stuff that we hadn't heard before, of course, in that KMH clip from December 1943. So great stuff. Thanks again for that. Okay. Right. Time's marching on, and if you remember last time, guys, I did ask people to suggest any particular favourites from the new double CD. You can see behind me, and I did get a response from quite a few people. We're not going to have time to play all of them, but we'll carry them over to next time. And again, I'll just ask anybody if they want to suggest anything from that wonderful new double CD set. We only played one track last time, but please let me know and we'll line it up for next time. Anyway, what we will play a couple. The first one is the amazing Blame It On My Youth, the recording from the Woodbury show, 19th of March 1935, with Georgie Stoll and his orchestra. This was requested by a couple of people, and so it's Frank and Keith. So it's good that they're both here tonight to hear. So this is Blame It On My Youth.
The makers of Woodbury's facial soap for the skin you love to touch present Bing Crosby. If I expected love when first we kissed, blame it on my youth. If only just for you I did exist, blame it on my youth. I believed in everything like a child of 3. You meant more than anything, all the world to me. If you were on my mind all night and day, blame it on my youth. If I forgot to eat and sleep and pray, blame it on my youth. If I cried a little bit when first I learned the truth, don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my youth. You were on my mind all night and day, blame it on my youth. If I forgot to eat and sleep and pray, blame it on my youth. Yes, I cried a little bit when first I learned the truth. Don't blame it on my heart, blame it on my youth.
Yeah, Bing in that wonderful 1935 voice. I know that's one of the tracks that isn't perfect audio-wise, but it's certainly perfect with regards to Bing singing. So yes, Greg, come on, we're going to take this opportunity. Let's see it. Look
show
out,
up
Steve.
There it is.
Oh.
It's
That's
Christmas
one of the
1940.
an identical penknife, I
Bing
guess, is it?
It is, yeah.
Wonderful.
Fabulous. Wow.
So he had a bunch of those things printed out each year, a different, like a money clip or a pocket knife, or one year even had a little flashlight.
Have you just seen them turning up on online auction sites, do you, Greg?
Yeah, over the years I've picked them up. Yeah, some of them, when they turn up now, they're generally quite expensive. Back in the day, they were not quite so bad.
Yeah, as time goes on, I guess. Fabulous. Well done. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Okay, I think we got time for one more. So forgive me if this wasn't one of your requests. As I say, I will hold those over because we've got a few others. But this is from the Philco show of 1st of January 1947. It's also requested by Keith, but I'm quite pleased that Keith did request this because it's one of my favourites and has been since I had it on an old LP, a replay LP, and it's the old Lamplighter.
He made the night a little brighter wherever he would go. The old lamplighter of long, long ago. His snowy hair was so much whiter beneath the candle glow. The old lamplighter of long, long ago. You'd hear the patter of his feet as he came toddling down the street. His smile would hide a lonely heart, you see. If there were sweethearts in the park, he'd pass a lamp and leave it dark, remembering the days that used to be. For he recalls when dreams were new, he loved someone who loved him too, who walks with him alone in memory. He made the night a little brighter wherever he would go. The old lamplighter of long, long ago.
Thanks, folks. Well, I gotta go now and flip on my Philco and catch Henry Morgan, who follows.
Yeah, and it's really nice to have that one in great sound quality on the CD. And as I say, apologies to anybody that I didn't play your your request. I will hold them over until next time. Also, I'm aware that some people didn't have the CD at our last meeting, so if you've received it since, then again, please let me know. Okay, we're going to finish. A couple of minutes left. We're going to finish on a final track. I'm going back to Aaron's presentation. So one of the Bingville buglers that was on the list of other trumpeters that Aaron featured, but wasn't actually one of the 11 that he mentioned. Just share the screen here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, was the fabulous Ziggy Allman, and this is this is from 1953. It's Johnny Mercer song, "P.S. I Love You," and Ziggy Allman is the trumpet lead here.
Dear, I thought I'd drop a line. The weather's cool and the folks are fine. I'm in bed each night at 9. P.S. I love you. Yesterday we had some rain, but all in all, I can't complain. Was it dusty on the train? P.S. I love you. Write to the Browns just as soon as you're able. They came around to call. I burned a hole in the dining room table, and let me see, I guess that's all. Nothing else for me to say, and so I'll close. But by the way, everybody's thinking of you. P.S. I love you. Write to the Browns just as soon as you're able. They came around to call. I burned a hole in the dining room table, and let me see, I guess that's all. Nothing else for me to say, and so I'll close. But by the way, everybody's thinking of you. P.S. I love you.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think after Aaron's presentation, we're all hearing that with a different set of ears.